So I previously made a video talking about how Trump could potentially adopt Ripple and even XRP for the US dollar. In this video, I actually want to address why I believe that Elon Musk could technically be that person that is in charge of this under the Department of Government Efficiency, aka Doge. But this is something that I have been watching unfold over the last couple of days because it's definitely something that's, number one, interesting. Number two, it's something that we definitely need in the US. But also, number three, this could ultimately change the way that everything in the US is processed, how everything is transacted, how values move. This could essentially be the beginning of the US integrating blockchain within the US system. And I'm not just talking about the financial system, I'm talking about everything. So with that being said, welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. Let's dive on in and let's start off with this post here, which is just in. Elon Musk, Department of Government Efficiency meets with public blockchain reps to evaluate their technology, Bloomberg reports. Now, the full report was over here. It got posted by Cointelegraph. Justin, Elon Musk is exploring blockchain technology to track U.S. government spending, secure data, process payments, and manage federal property, aiming to boost transparency and reduce waste, though critics warn of potential challenges. Now, here we have conversations said to be held with multiple public blockchains. The technology may be used to track government spending. So this is interesting, especially coming from Bloomberg. And, again, when we really look back in time, we know that there's been a lot of discussions around Elon Musk with Doge, around Bitcoin. The big thing that we saw back in 2021 was the fact that, Elon was not a big fan of Bitcoin because of the energy usage. Also, he said that the transactions, the scalability and the speed, it was not the best. But if we're thinking about this, and if we're thinking about meeting with some of these public blockchain players, we really start to look at some of the companies that have been making a lot of noise recently, even around this new admin, which again, Ripple definitely comes up in question. We definitely focus on Ripple because Brad Garlinghouse and even Stuart Alderoty did have a dinner with Trump. You could say that they paid for it. It doesn't matter, right? It's pay to win in this game. But on top of that, we know that Ripple is a US-based company. XRP, it's technically not a US-based crypto project. It's fully decentralized. It's not controlled by Ripple or anything like that. But XRP has the, title US-based crypto. But XRP and the XRPL is extremely efficient for a lot of these things in terms of, making payments, managing, property. When you tokenize property on chain, you could definitely manage it very easily. In terms of securing data, we know that the blockchain is extremely secure. So that's definitely a big thing. And in terms of boosting transparency, again, everything on chain is transparent, it's trackable, it's traceable. In terms of reducing waste, you could definitely reduce waste by utilizing blockchain. And I didn't even mention the fact that utilizing Ripple with XRP, you could unlock a ton of, additional revenue services. You could also unlock trapped capital. I mean, there's a lot of things here around blockchain that we've talked about for years and years and years that you could potentially do to not only boost, revenue, but also you can unlock a ton of capital, trapped capital. We look at Nostro Vostro accounts, for an example. But outside of this, even CZ from Binance said unpopular opinion. All governments should track all their spending on the blockchain, an immutable public ledger. It's called public spending for a reason. Now, again, we know that they were meeting with multiple public blockchain reps. Could Hadera be tossed in the equation? 100%. Guys, Hadera has always been, focused on when it comes to tracking and tracing. 2021, when we first started to look into Hadera, the big thing was tracking and tracing. Their track and trace service was huge, and it still is through the Hadera consensus service. This is a complete decentralized auditable log of immutable and time-stamped events for everything, Web 2 and even Web 3 applications. Hadera can do that. We also know that Hadera is extremely secure. Again, we could just mix in a bunch of names. Algorand could be thrown in there as well. But, Ripple and XRP definitely make a lot of sense concerning RLUSD. US-backed stablecoin supports the US dollar even through digital, through the digital economy. It makes a lot of sense. We also know that Ripple has, massive players already on board. But outside of this, right, look at what just happened over the last couple days. Donald Trump lets buy digital assets to make things easier for crypto. Larry Fink lets tokenize bonds and stocks, ordering the SEC to basically completely greenlight that. Elon Musk lets use blockchain for government efficiency. I mean, most of crypto definitely is, bearish right now. But what I find crazy about this is, this happened in just the last couple, weeks. And it only continues to be focused on more and more when we start to see things like this, where we are looking into blockchain being tied into the US system. I mean, this is pretty crazy. But also, everyone's been saying Bitcoin. There's a lot of Bitcoin maxis out there saying, oh, well, no, Bitcoin. They have to, they have to integrate Bitcoin, right? It was never about Bitcoin. Check this out. Going all the way back to 2023, this is Elon Musk. It was never Bitcoin. Its purpose was just to make the herd think that they had power. The government will bring out the tanks and guns before allowing that. This is Elon Musk. Big shout out to Digital Asset Investor for this video clip. Check this out.
So, and I would like to see Bitcoin succeed. I think there's some merit to, this is not a slam on Bitcoin, there's some merit to considering something that has higher max transaction rates and a lower transaction cost, and kind of seeing how far you could take a single layer network where the exchanges act as a de facto second layer. I think you can probably take that further than people realize. And as bandwidth increases over time, latency decreases. SpaceX's Starlink is actually playing a role in this. And I think long-term people will probably have access to worldwide access to gigabit level connectivity at low latency, and so at low cost. And so then your base layer could do a lot of transactions if you take that into account. So yeah, but like I said, Bitcoin with a layer 2 system, so they could scale to do a vast number of transactions. Same goes for Ethereum.
So, I mean, listen, when we really think about what's going on here, when we're talking about payment efficiency, transactional efficiency, scalable use cases around tokenization, we're not looking at Bitcoin. We're not even looking at Ethereum here. It's just shocking to me that we're still kind of living in this like fairy tale world of, oh no, it's Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the only one. We are getting Bitcoin marketed to us from these big players like Saylor, who ran their company into the ground prior to jumping into crypto, by the way. And now they have to shill Bitcoin consistently because that's their only revenue source for their company. I mean, it's crazy to me that we still have these marketers around the space that are constantly saying like, oh, Bitcoin's the one, buy and hodl it. It's ridiculous. Also over here, here's a more up-to-date video from January 11th, also got posted by Digital Asset Investor. This is David Streski, again, another individual that has been very vocal about XRP recently. Did he just say the quiet part out loud? It was never Bitcoin. I don't do interviews often, but when I do, it's with the guy that knows what's going on with Ripple and Bank of America behind the scenes. Check it out.
I actually think that there's coins I'm going to make a lot more money in and that are going to be even more strategic to the future. Because see, the one thing that we don't know about Bitcoin is that we know that it cannot transact quickly. And so because it's unable to transact quickly, we have a time frame right now where this leading asset class, the number one asset class in crypto, which doesn't transact quickly, therefore it's not a really great, quick medium of exchange. I think that there's an opportunity for new leadership to come in. And so this is where a lot of the conversations come in, talking about Ethereum and talking about Ripple. And, we've gotten a new Ethereum ETF now. We've not seen the price take off in the same way, though. We're looking at new Ripple ETFs. Now, this is an interesting one because if you'll pay attention for a moment, you'll notice many of these banks out here and their CEOs were dissing Ripple, we're dissing crypto in general, while simultaneously and behind the scenes creating their own coins and preparing for what is very probably upon us right now, which is that at some point in time, there will be a banking challenge and then we will switch over to this system. Now, it would be wonderful to do things not in a crisis, but remember the old adage here, and that is don't waste a good crisis. And it seems like that's been the playbook over the last, decades, but, very, very clearly here in the last 4 or 5 years.
Now, he is 100% correct here, right? Like, what if there is a banking issue and we just switch over to blockchain and DLT? That's something that I have been watching very close because we are starting to see the banking issues starting to rise. And, I feel like it started really back in 2023, but this has been ongoing since 2008. We never actually fixed the problem. We just kind of swept it under the, rug and said, all right, well, we're good. We're good. All the big banks, bought out all of the smaller ones that failed. They got bigger, and it was basically just one big bailout, and we continued to print money from 2008 up to now. And we never fixed the issue, and that could very well lead us down a path to that big crash and that big banking issue that could allow us to immediately switch over to this new system. And that system would be on, DLT and blockchain. Ripple will obviously be a big winner of that because they are providing infrastructure for the banks. They are marketing XRP to the big banks, even though, they're not the big players behind XRP. We know that XRP and XRPL, are doing just fine, but Ripple is just another big player around it. So, Ripple and XRP are right there at the forefront of, a big banking revolution around tech. But on top of this, right, even over here, why it was never Bitcoin. Remember, Bitcoin often falls outside of the system while Ripple and XRP fall within the system. Yes, this is documented. Big shout to Smoke Dog. Even within this documentation, you can actually see that, when we look at XRP, when we look at Ripple, it's always, documented in PDF files as superior to Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is also why I've always said, when you look at all of these Bitcoin maxis and these Ethereum maxis crying, calling Ripple and even XRP names, it's very clear on why they do so, right? It's very clear that they understand the big threat here. They also understand how the market is changing. They know, listen, they would have to be extremely dumb not to be stacking some XRP. They would have to be extremely dumb. I mean, maybe they are. Maybe they just don't understand the tech. Maybe they don't even understand Bitcoin. But they have to be buying it. They have to be buying XRP because they know how this space is evolving. SAB 121 just got repealed. Banks are now allowed to custody crypto. They're now able to jump in on crypto. Who's the biggest player around the banks? Ripple. XRP. I mean, let's be real here. XRP for years and years and years was ridiculed. And it was called what? The banker's coin. You seriously can't make this stuff up. So when we go all the way back to that first post here, okay, if we are going to adopt a blockchain, and if we're going to adopt a blockchain in a way where, everything is on chain, we can now track and trace what the government is spending our money on. Hey, I am a big supporter of tracking our tax payments. If you own a company out there, if you have an LLC, if you're paying in a decent amount of money to the government, and this goes for anyone technically, but I'm just saying, we should 100% be able to track where our money is going. I also think that we should have a say on where our money goes. Because, listen, I might volunteer to, pay my taxes every single year, but I don't volunteer to have my money sent everywhere and, go to absolutely nothing. I want to see the area that I live improve through my taxes. I don't want to see my tax money just go to waste. So, I'm a big believer in the idea of, tracking and tracing where taxpayer money goes. But I also think that we definitely need something to improve this system, because the system around the US is completely broken. We are not seeing, debt improve at all. We continue to see, massive amounts of money printed every single day. We're in a massive deficit as well in terms of the payments on that debt. I mean, something has to give. And, if something doesn't change, something's going to break, which will only lead us down the path to DLT and blockchain being adopted in. But I do think that XRP and Ripple are definitely at the highest point right now in the US as two big players to be tapped in for something like this that Elon Musk is, talking about here and addressing. If we are going to adopt this technology, if we're going to adopt blockchain, to track all of this, to secure data, to process payments, what better player than Ripple and XRP? It just makes a lot of sense. And this is not taking anything away from Hadera, because I do think that Hadera definitely is up there as well. There's a lot of players. Algorand could be up there, Stellar could be up there, but it just makes sense to have Ripple and XRP tapped in, because you're kind of getting the best of both worlds, right? You're getting a centralized entity, but then you're also getting a decentralized ledger and decentralized digital asset that is a neutral bridge currency. I mean, it just makes a lot of sense here. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know what you guys think, though, down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But if you guys did enjoy this video, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.